Welcome to Let's Write This Movie, where we write a screenplay
while sharing the process with the internet.
I am your screenwriter, René Garcia.
And I'm your collaborator, Brian Glass.
Now, let's write this movie. And we're rolling.
Welcome.
I have a beanie on today, everybody, because...
Do you? It's not your head?
No, it's not a new hairstyle that I've just wrapped my hair around my head. That'd be awesome if I could do that. And it's been really cold here in California lately, as it has been in Arizona as well. Flagstaff apparently got 38 inches of snow.
It's a record.
In Arizona, folks, where it hits 120 frequently throughout the year, 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Anyway.
It's one of those misconceptions about Arizona.
Oh, is that not the case?
It's rare, and it happens. If it does, it's like one day. We'll definitely get heat, above 110 for weeks, absolutely in the middle. But in the winter, it gets cold here.
All right. Well, the point I'm making, Brian, is that Arizona is not known for snow. When I say I want to go to a snowy region, I don't think Arizona is the point I'm making.
Flagstaff is very, very snowy, quite often.
What, it snows in Arizona quite often?
In Flagstaff, yeah.
Oh, I don't know where Flagstaff is. So
higher elevation.
Oh, okay.
It's like 7,000 feet. So.
All right. Well, what do I know? All I know is that it gets hot.
Now you know more.
It's
now
hot.
You know more.
It's hot in Arizona. I will continue holding on to my misconceptions about hot Arizona everywhere in Arizona, especially Flagstaff. Anyway.
Says the guy in crazy California.
It's been...
Californians.
I know, Brian. I know. It's been pretty cold, as it has been all over the United States. And I had to go hang out with my family early this morning, so I just slapped on this beanie, and I've been wearing it essentially all day, and so my hair is a mess. And I have hair that's just short enough to look terrible if it's been matted down in every direction under a beanie. So when I got home today, I was like, you know what? What the hell do I care? I'm not trying to impress anybody with my looks. I'll just do the show with my hair all messed up. But then I looked at it, and it would be a distraction is the problem. So I'm doing it sans hair.
Well, I mean, with that kind of setup, I need to see it
No,
now.
it's not that bad, Brian. It's not that bad at all.
Man.
It's not like I pull it off, and it's like flock of seagulls, right? That would be hilarious.
Duran.
Yeah.
It's like straight out of the 80s.
Did Duran have weird hair?
Yeah. All of those
remember.
bands did. Aha.
Aha had normal hair.
No.
Yeah. Watch the video, man.
Which one? The drawing?
No
The
take
drawn
on
one?
me.
Of course.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So, folks, thank you very much for joining us once again for another week of Let's Write This Movie. As we are just starting, I hope you will give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, if you've just stumbled on us, then please give us a subscribe and ring the bell for notifications.
You all have friends. Everyone who subscribed has friends. And you all like us. We're your extended friends.
There you go.
So why not tell a friend? Tell another friend. Let's double up our subscribers. Double up. Gotta be a rep in there somewhere. Double up. Double up. I'm in a really bad mood today, Renee, as you can tell.
Are you really?
No.
Oh, that should be our theme song for season 2.
Double up.
Double up. And just you a cappella beatboxing.
And then laughing.
Yeah, and then laughing. And then remix it, bro. Remix it. You know how you do.
How I do. So how you doing, buddy, other than cold and experiencing familial ties?
So this week it was my side. One of my side gigs, anyway, is now bi-weekly, and this week was a work week for side gig stuff. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get to concentrate on the script as much as I was hoping I would. Nevertheless, I think I turned out decent pages, though this is all just kind of like, for those of you who read it, this to me feels like just kind of a preparation for the important pages, or for important pages within the movie. Does that make sense, Brian?
Yes and no. I think it is because you're leading somewhere, but if you're watching this part of the movie, you're having a lot of fun. I mean, this is like, the action is ratcheted up, this is all just kind of moving really fast. And then it gets to some real fun parts too. So I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But by the same token, within the context of like this like, I don't know, this is like, I guess part of the third act. It's all just been kind of really rolling ever since that, a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Louder.
Freaking Adobe, man. Adobe wants me to update my Premiere. Anyway, nevertheless, Brian, it still feels like knowing what's coming up, to me, that's the important thing. This is the getting ready for that. Mostly.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't feel like a lull. It's feels like it's a sustained interesting part. Like this is like all action, fun, cool stuff on screen. You know what I mean? So
okay.
Like if we're reading this through, this is all snappy. Just like last week. It's just goes. It's cool. We're in the home stretch.
Okay, well that's fair. I guess I would liken it to. So Brian and we watched Blade several weeks ago. Maybe what was it? Maybe months ago now.
Yeah,
I've lost all track of time. And in Blade, when Blade gets his powers back at the end, and he's about to have the big duel to showcase his badassery. They have him, just kill a bunch of jobbers, right? Just guys who run in and their job is to get killed. And Brian turns to me, and to me, I've always enjoyed these scenes. Like, we finally get to see Blade in all his glory. Brian just turns to me all nonchalantly. He's like, "I hate these parts in movies." And I'm just like, what? Come on, bro.
I don't even remember saying that. Well, I mean, yours, you break it up, though. It's got cool stuff going on, too.
No, I get that. But
that's a nice little character building part.
The point I'm making, though, is that this is similar. It's not a perfect comparison, but I think it's similar. You were establishing something but we don't really, there's no real danger, for these characters. I mean, maybe for possibly like one of the minor characters, you might think, oh, okay, maybe Chief is going to die here or something.
That'd be funny.
What's that?
That'd be funny if you just killed someone. Like, whoa, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, he just trips and lands on his axe. Oh! There's a scene
impales himself
Predator.
on a child accidentally.
Oh, what's that?
He impales himself on a child accidentally.
Absolutely.
How's that even possible? How did that happen?
Two movie-related stories here. One, have you seen the movie Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
No.
It stars Alan, that's his name, Alan Tudyk from Firefly.
Yeah.
And then this other guy who's, I think, kind of like a newcomer. I can't remember his name, but it's hilarious. Basically, it's these two like, just like country boys, right? Like guys from the hills or whatever. But they're earnest guys, right? They just want to like go fishing, and they go to this cabin, and these college kids think that they are like these like psychopaths in this cabin in the woods kind of thing, right?
Right.
And so they've got it in their minds that they need to check them out, and like one of their friends gets knocked out, and she's like saved by these guys, by the heroes, but they think she's been taken captive, and so her friends are trying to rescue her, and they're trying to attack Tucker and Dale.
Right.
And every time they do something, they're accidentally like killing themselves. Right. And so then other friends see this and they're like, oh my God, they just killed Jimmy or whatever. Right.
Don't tell me too much, because this sounds like something I need to watch.
That's hilarious.
I'm going to send myself a note. It's
Tucker
great.
and Dale versus Evil.
Okay. You were getting to an actual point, though, right? Don't let me interrupt you.
Well, and then the other thing is there was a second story here. Nope. It's all gone. It's all gone from my brain. Why were we even talking about this?
It'll come back to you.
Okay, wait. So accidentally killing. Okay, so the other thing I saw, and this movie I know you're never going to see. It's Predators, or is it The Predator, the new one?
Oh, the most recent one?
Yeah, I think it's called The Predator.
I started watching it.
Oh, why?
Why did I start watching it?
It's so bad.
It's so bad. Well, that's why I said I started watching it.
You even told me, you're like, Renee, even if you got like,
Half screener. It was a half screener,
okay,
and even half screening it, I think 5 minutes in, I'm like, nope, just
yeah,
turn it off. This is terrible.
kind of bad. Anyway, so there's a sequence towards the end where a character has one of the Predator's weapons on his shoulder, you know, the little cannon thing.
Spoiler alert, people.
Do you want me to spoil this for you,
No,
Brent?
I'm just letting anyone who
Oh, okay.
hasn't seen it.
Well,
Spoiler alert.
it's so bad. Like, I don't mind. Typically, I don't like when people spoil things, but it's so moronic, this death. Basically, they established this convention that wherever the person who's wearing the cannon, the shoulder cannon, is looking, the cannon will face as well, and then it can fire, right?
Okay.
And it seems very convenient. So there's this big firefight towards the end, and the guy wearing the cannon, like someone says his name or something, and he's like, what? And the cannon
Smacks him.
aims at his head like this, you know, and then it blasts his head off. And I'm just like, that was a stupid way to kill a character.
It'd be funny if it knocked him out.
Well,
Oh,
it doesn't. It blasts his head off.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why go for PG when you can go straight R?
Well, yeah. I mean, the movie was meant to be R, but
Yeah.
and you know that's the other weird thing. It's like this R-rated movie, but it has this like wholesome kid relationship in it, and it's just this isn't working for me, folks. Like, kill the kid immediately. Let that be the reason why the movie ramps up into an R. Like, I gotta, you know, have my bloody vengeance for killing little Jimmy.
Yeah, I've got to literally take my kid gloves off.
Oh, they don't fit anyway.
Whose gloves were these anyhow?
Exactly.
Jimmy? I'll wear Jimmy's little gloves for the rest of the movie. We should write the remake of that movie. I'm already enjoying this more than I enjoyed the first 5 minutes, which is just gratuitous death. It's like, this is just dumb.
Yeah.
Like, over the top. I'm like, okay, this is not working for me at all.
Yeah.
That was Shane Black, right?
It is, and that's why it's so disappointing to me. He's my hero. He's one of the reasons why I became a screenwriter.
Now we're gonna have to start calling him early Shane Black when we talk about
I
him.
know. Exactly.
God, I hope.
Well, you know, even later, Shane Black with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
You didn't like Kiss Bang Bang?
I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's why I'm okay with saying Shane Black.
I'm saying maybe it's like the new Shane Black. You know, it's gonna be this terrible director. I hope it's not the case.
I don't know
Maybe
what's
just go
going
back to
on.
writing.
I think he's getting older, and he's probably a father, and he wants to have this kind of like insert his fatherly instincts into films. You know, like,
Yeah.
I thought there was a problem in Iron Man 3.
Mhm.
You know, you had the kid. I'm like, oh, anytime you insert a kid, the movie sucks. And all of the kid sequences, I didn't like. I was like, this is not doing it for me. I'm not. I don't watch these movies to see kids. I watch them to watch the Iron Man suit kicking ass and having Robert Downey Jr., you know, quipping once in a while.
Yeah, I liked the later parts with the kid.
Okay, of course you did.
After he earned it a little bit. What do you mean? Of course I did.
Because
Just
you're a
my dad?
father. You're imprinting your own fatherly instincts.
That is not even possibly true because of so many other things that I like that I am not. I mean, this just happens to be, yes, I am a father, but I'm just saying, I thought it was well written, and, you know, the parts where he's basically blowing off the kid, I enjoyed that stuff. Maybe I'm a bad father. Maybe I was relating to that. Blowing off the kid is the funniest part.
There you go. All I'm saying is you can't remove your experiences from the art that you consume.
Speaking of which, my favorite line of that movie, of Iron Man 3, I can't remember which character said it, but he's like, art and commerce together.
That's right. Oh, yes. It's very clear now.
Oh, no one's going to get that.
No
That's
one.
great.
No one's going to get that.
We'll move right past it.
So for those of you who didn't read the blog, apparently, and I discovered this as I uploaded the last episode, apparently YouTube doesn't like you using the hashtag double fisting. I guess that means something else. I didn't know that. Double fisting.
It'd be pretty funny though if you could just search for the ones that had that.
Oh yeah,
You know,
totally.
and then they get our show and they're like, I don't understand what's happening right now with this show. This is not what I expected.
Right.
Oh, Renee.
Oh, Brian.
Irish.
Oh, Brian.
Hey, Irish.
Exactly. Well, Brian, is there anything else you wanted to add before anything you want to say about the script or anything at all?
Not about the script. I will say not totally related, but I had a good week. Had some nice creative things this week. Got to play some music with some new friends. I know you like making new friends, so I got to play.
I love making new friends.
Your best favorite thing to do.
Pastime, my favorite pastime. Hey, you! I don't know you.
Come on in. Let's play
be
some
friends.
music. And that was really, really rewarding. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. And then on my my project that I'm doing, that really only you know about here, it's dealing with a specialized world, and there's some technical issues with that I'm a little bit frightened that I'm not going to get correct in terms of, we're digging deep into the audio world and how to manipulate signals and things like that. And today there was an open house over at Arizona State University, ASU.
Oh, right.
And I went there with the intention of trying to curry some favor with someone who might help me out, and met with the head of the department, and she was very excited about the project and helping out. And so if she's not going to be the one to help out, one of her grad students will. So it was a good contact, good day for that. And I'm really happy because I think that's nice to have just someone who can come in and, bring that doctor standpoint and say, yes,
Oh, totally.
This could happen. Yeah,
See if you can get us voice actors too from this place.
I'm no kidding. Huh?
It's a college, you said, right?
ASU? It's a huge college.
There you go. I almost went there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They try to get a lot of people out of California. Yeah, because, it's too expensive in California.
I hear it's a big party school, though.
Not as much as it used to be, but yeah, that's definitely the...
I'm not a party guy, Brian.
Routine. What are you talking about? You're all about the partying and making friends.
Social guy.
What?
I know.
What are you
Can you believe
about?
it? Yeah. Let's put a pin in that because I think we may need to dip into college students to get voices for this thing if and when we get to that point.
When we get to that point.
Well, I'm just saying, who knows if after we do the rewrite, if, I'm even going to care about doing the animatic. Maybe I just want to move on to the next thing. We'll see.
Yeah. Or we could just do a read-through of the whole thing. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll just put a pin in it, and we'll put it over the parking lot.
Parking lot.
Yeah. I know. I don't want to... I was going to ask you something, but I just don't want too big of an ask at this time.
Oh, ask. God, how did ask become a noun?
I don't know.
Nounification of things. I hate it. Like bad. Apparently you can own a bad now.
We are... you can.
Yeah.
We are going to do a read.
What? Who? You and me?
Yeah, we're going to do a read of this.
Today?
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm just saying.
does
Is
that
read
mean?
really a noun?
We're going to do a read?
Yeah.
Well, I mean... Well, because read is short for read through. Right?
Okay. Sure.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I've got a saying for you. That's true. That really is a noun. I'm going off the deep end now. We better start reading.
Yeah, we better get to something like solid ground again.
We better let's solid.
Let's solid.
Yeah, we're gonna make the noun into a verb now.
All right. Short show. Let's make it a short show.
It's gonna be a short show. We're gonna short it.
Well, Brian, you will be
Yes.
glad to know that. Oh, first of all, since I haven't had a chance to let you know what's going on 116, we'll just do the corrections live. We'll do it live.
Yeah.
All right. So initially, when I wrote this, Sam was backing up, right? but stops when he he actually hears a yoo-hoo in his ear. But then since I already used that convention, I was like, oh, let's throw a headbanger in there. But then I realized, what's he going to use to bar the doors? He needs to pick that up. I got to establish that. So I went back and I was like, oh, he can do it here. And so without reading this through correctly to see if it read, right with the new text, I just like, it's 4 lines. It fits. Send it to Brian. All right, so change it to he picks up a discarded shotgun, and just change it to get rid of the second paragraph. Just read it as he freezes when he hears growling in his ear.
Okay. Oh, and then take out the second he freezes.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. No problem.
All right. So I don't know if you want to reread the schoolhouse attack.
Yeah, it's changed substantially.
Okay. Well, I just thought we could just talk about it.
It'll take us long to talk about it. Plus, I think we should perform it for the Mormon.
For the Mormon. He likes it when kids die.
He's like, more? Can we just add more kid deaths?
Yeah.
Is there anything we could do that's a little more brutal? Is there such a thing as triple fisting? That's what I'm asking at this point.
Triple fist. If you're an alien.
Can you hashtag triple fisting is the question.
Dude, is his name... It is Tommy, right? Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember if I named the kid Timmy.
Well, now you've got me thinking.
I'm pretty sure it's Tommy, because I wouldn't have named him Timmy if there's a Jimmy. And there is a Jimmy in the
We do
movie.
have Sam and Stan.
Wow, that's different.
Not that different.
It's different because I say it's different, bro. Fine, I can change Sam's name. It doesn't matter. Let's change Sam. Sam will be...
Heinrich.
It doesn't sound like Southern enough.
Heinrich. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Everyone just stops.
The deadliest rifle west of Berlin or whatever. I don't know.
You have a new accent you bring into the show.
Totally,
Come on.
yeah.
Read through. You're the read through, buddy.
Okay. Well, Brian, we're gonna do this. We're gonna read.
Whenever you're ready. I can't see your side.
Okay. So top of 114.
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
Here we go. Interior schoolhouse, continuous. The group rushes in through a side entrance as the herd closes in. Stan shuts the door and bars it with a chair. The monsters outside pound on the door for a few moments before moving on. Stan sighs, but doesn't turn around when he speaks.
Stan. Maggie, that was reckless.
When he turns, he sees his group frozen. Before them, the town's kids sit still at their desks, backs straight and hands clasped. Their mouths drip blood. They've piled the corpses of their parents at the front door, blocking it.
Tommy. Are you okay? Children. R is for ring. U is for umbrella. O is for orange. K is for kite. I did it, Brian. I said it. Stan. Hell.
He pulls his pistol and fires. The children charge. Exterior schoolhouse continuous. Long and Everett skulk around a corner. They hear Stan's shots, look at each other, and run to the schoolhouse. Interior schoolhouse continuous. The group fights for its life. During the melee, McBully, the fat kid, approaches Tommy.
McBully. T is for toy.
Tommy innocently offers his toy gun, but McBully knocks it away. He reaches at Tommy, but at the last moment,
Maggie. Get away from my boy!
She smashes McBully in the face with her shovel. Then she keeps smashing until the blade deforms. Exterior schoolhouse continuous. Long and Everett try to break the door down, but the corpses on the other side brace it. Long looks through a knothole. Insert POV. He sees Stan pistol whipping attackers out of view. Back to scene. Everett and Long try to break the door down again. It begins to budge, cracking open just a little. Suddenly, an axe blade breaks through the door, startling Everett and Long. Everett looks through the door crack. Insert POV. He sees Chief stumble back with a broken axe handle.
Stan, they're coming back! You gotta bust their heads!
Chief begins punching at attackers out of view. Ray lets out a war cry, and the fight inside sounds more aggressive as tiny bodies sound like they're getting hurled against the wood boards inside. Small voices groan death rattles. Like rattles. It's kind of funny. Back to scene. Everett and Long make a heroic effort to force the door open as the sounds inside die down. Finally, the door gives way. Interior schoolhouse, continuous. The scene inside is grisly. The broken bodies of children are scattered everywhere. In the center of the room, Stan and company are covered in viscera, but otherwise unharmed. Only Chief, whose knuckles bleed from punching, is injured.
Everett. Jesus.
Ray falls to his knees and weeps. Maggie consoles him.
Stan, to Everett. Glad you're alive. Why is he here? Long. I heard you were good at killing kids. I had to see it for myself. Stan. God damn it, you know they weren't. Everett. Enough. We've got to get out of town, but we need to work together. To Long. That means all of us.
Long and Stan stare at each other.
Maggie. Get out of town? I thought we were going to wait until morning. Everett. That won't work anymore. Maggie. Why?
Everett shoots Long a grim look. Long nods back. Exterior street, continuous. Sam limps along, carrying his silver ore, trying to avoid drawing attention to himself. He turns a corner and sees a herd of undead shuffling his way. Sam backs up, looking frantically for a weapon. He picks up a discarded shotgun. He freezes when he hears growling in his ear. He turns to see a headbanger. It sniffs him, then licks him, then spits. It sneers and runs off. The herd of undead shuffle past, ignoring Sam completely. Sam moves on. Exterior jail, continuous. Everett and company sneak into the jail. Interior jail, continuous. It's a mess, but the gun rack and locker are untouched.
Everett, grab what you can. We'll have a fight on our hands.
The group spreads out to tool up. Chief grabs a sturdy fire axe with a metal handle. Ray picks up a bar that's broken free from the cell. Stan reloads his pistol and replenishes his gun belt. Long picks up a rifle and looks at Maggie.
Long. Miss, can you shoot a rifle?
All of the other men stop and look at Maggie, and then each other. Maggie looks at their reaction with surprise and indignation. She takes the rifle and loads it expertly.
Maggie. I can handle one just fine. My husband taught me how to shoot, to protect our home when he was away.
Long smiles in admiration. Everett spots something in the locker and hesitates before pulling it out. It's Long's pistols and gun belt. He holds them out to Long. When Long takes Everett, when Long takes them, Everett doesn't let go until they lock eyes. Everett goes back to reloading. Long twirls his pistols and grins. He sights various random targets in the room before holstering with relish and flourish. He's complete again. Everett tosses ammo into a sack and hands it to Tommy.
Everett, you've got the most important job. Think you can handle it?
Tommy stands tall and nods. Long moves to the door.
Long, everyone ready? In Cantonese. I wish you good luck.
He opens the door and heads out. Exterior jail, continuous. The streets here are relatively thin as Long and company step out. A wall of fire blazes in the distance in all directions as the steady report of gunfire fills the air. The army is busy. A spitter hops onto a nearby rooftop. Long points. He motions for everyone to move quickly. He motions for everyone to move quietly. The group does so, but Tommy stumbles, jangling the ammo sack. The spitter snaps its head towards Tommy and spits. Its acidic saliva singes Tommy's arm. Maggie raises her rifle and aims.
Long. No! You'll draw them!
Too late. With deadly accuracy, Maggie fires at the spitter, killing it. The group listens for reaction. Maggie checks on Tommy, who is fine. They're about to move on when moans, roars, and yoo-hoos rise around them. The group runs. Exterior, street number 2, continuous. The path ahead fills with all manner of undead and infected, but the group smashes, slashes, and blasts their way through. Only when the crowd gets too thick does Everett lead the group down an alley. He kicks a door open at the end of it. Interior, Doc Murphy's, continuous. The group barricades the door with furniture. Breathless, they take in their surroundings. It's Doc's medical office, but the bodies of the little girls are missing. Instead, Doc, with his back to the group, stands over a body on the floor. It's Claudette. Her head has been separated from her neck. Doc holds a bloody bone saw.
Stan. Doc?
Doc barely turns his head, but doesn't face the group.
Doc. That fool woman. I told her we weren't school children anymore. Stan. Doc, what happened? Doc. She tried to kiss me, but she wasn't herself anymore. Regarding the bottle on the floor. She drank one of those snake oil potions, and it changed her. I had to do it. I had to kill her. Everett. Doc, do you see what's happening outside? We've all had to do things we're not proud of to survive.
He steps towards Doc, but Doc raises a hand.
Doc. Stay away! It's not safe! It's contagious. Whatever happened to me... Oh, let me do that again. Whatever happened to her is going to happen to me. Maggie. How do you know?
Doc slowly turns to reveal the other side of his face. He has a gaping hole chewed through his cheek.
Doc. Because she kissed me a little too hard, and I can feel it changing me. It's the bite. It's the blood. Don't let it get into your blood.
He spots Chief's bleeding knuckles. A look of concern flashes over Doc's face, but it's quickly replaced by eagerness.
Doc. We need to do something about that hand. I recommend amputation. Do you concur, Doctor?
He grips his saw tightly and shuffles towards Chief, who steps back and raises his axe.
Stan. Whoa, Doc. Hold it right there. Doc. It's just a minor procedure.
He keeps moving forward, and the group looks for an exit.
Doc. You might feel a slight sting. Ray. Sorry, Doc.
He clubs Doc's arm, breaking it. Doc cries out. Sorry, I'm getting ready for the next line. Sorry, folks. He clubs Doc's arm, breaking it. Doc cries out in pain.
Doc. Multiple fractures.
Ray clubs him over the head, knocking him out. Exterior Sally Saloon continuous. Sam stumbles into the saloon. Down the street, Zeke and Sally watch in surprise and run to intercept him. Interior Sally Saloon, back corridor, continuous. Zeke and Sally rush in from the front room, just in time to see Sam descending down into the secret passageway. Sam turns to grin weakly at the pair just before slamming the doors. Zeke and Sally run to them. Interior, secret passageway, continuous. Sam slides a shotgun into the handles of the heavy doors, barring them. Try as Zeke and Sally might, they can't get the doors open. Stan stumbles and grunts in approval. He turns to shuffle down the passageway. Interior, Doc Murphy's, continuous. Stan pokes his head out and looks down the street.
Stan. Looks pretty clear. Let's go.
I like how you end when you end scenes. It's like you've always got a place you want to end.
Yeah.
Gotta get at least to here.
I kind
set
of
up the next scene.
I almost, like I said, I wanted to just finish this.
Well,
because I'm already, like, my mind is already a little farther ahead, and there's a difficult scene that I don't really have planned out. I mean, I had it planned out, but as I've written what I've written, I feel like, you don't want to be redundant in how you present things to audiences. Just like a second ago, I said it was a yoo-hoo that whispered in Sam's ear, but then I realized, we already did that with Mortimer. So it's the same kind of concept, but let's switch it up a little bit. Make it a headbanger, right?
Yeah.
So as we talked about what's going to happen with Stan and Rebecca several episodes ago, and just to recap, the idea was that Long was going to kill Rebecca because he saw that she was changing, and that was going to enrage Stan, and Stan was going to start choking out Long. And he would have barricaded the door so that Everett couldn't come in to intervene.
Right.
But Everett would be able to get the door open just enough to get his gun barrel through and kill Stan to save Long. And that was meant to be this kind of pivotal scene where Everett, I guess maybe not Everett necessarily, but the relationship with Long and Everett between them has been solidified to the point where we see them now as like this genuine team. But that was when I was headed more towards this buddy cop scenario instead of strange bedfellows or convenient allies, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of changing it, and I don't know if you want me to talk about what I kind of want to turn it into instead, if that's going to ruin the experience for you, Brian.
I love to read the surprises, but I know you want to talk about it.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. I just hope it works out because I'm still not sure. I have an alternative, but I don't know how it's going to play.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I've created enough foundation where it feels earned, it feels organic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you feel like you want to work it out, that's a different story. But if you feel like you want to talk,
I do want to work it out.
All right, let's work it out.
All right, let's work it out. Let's work it out. Brian works it out. Anyway, so the idea now is that, if Stan really did love Rebecca the way that Everett will say cares for Maggie, right? Wouldn't Stan have left Everett's group to go and find Rebecca?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know that this is where the dilemma is, because I don't think I've established it. It doesn't make sense from the kind of character that Stan would have to be to do what he's going to do would be the kind of guy who would leave Everett's group to go be with Rebecca immediately. All right. So here's how I wanted to resolve it. They go, they're running to the bar. Stan doesn't know that Rebecca is still there, but as they pass, as they're headed to the bar, he sees there's movement, or maybe there's like she's on the veranda briefly, right? Maybe she makes eye contact with him, and he realizes, oh, she's still alive, and she's there, and he runs off just as a reflex, right? And Everett is like, God damn it, and he goes after Stan, and Long goes after, just to like be a team player. He goes with them as well. And perhaps they all arrive in Rebecca's room, and Stan doesn't realize that she's a monster. Maybe she still looks normal, but when Long blocks the light, he sees she's covered in the speckles, and he wants to kill her. And Long wants to kill her, but Stan's like, no, don't do it. And he's like, I can draw faster than both of you. You can't really stop me, right? And so Stan says, he basically pleads with Long, like, I'll take care of it, right? And he ushers Everett and Long out and quickly slams the door and barricades it, right? And Everett's concerned. He's trying to beat on the door. Like, Stan, what are you doing? Stan kills Rebecca and then kills himself.
Oh.
Now, I like that in a convenient way to get rid of Stan, and I like it from a kind of heightened desperation of the situation. But I don't know. I think it's out of joint, right? Like, I don't think I've made Stan's relationship with Rebecca strong enough that a guy would kill himself over having killed the woman he loves.
Right. Yeah, because we haven't seen her since
way in the beginning, since before the zombie thing.
Yeah, that's tough. So regardless of where, that's one issue. The second issue is regardless of not wanting to take the Everett and Long relationship to the buddy cop format too far. There's something so strong about setting up that Long, or that Stan chooses to kill Long. Or excuse me, Stan chooses. Okay,
Everett chooses to kill Stan.
To save Long, or
right.
Instead of Long die.
Yeah,
there's something that just so beautifully sets up that as like this hope in people to dismantle with their end scene. You know what I mean? That I kind of like that, like, oh, is it really going to go that far? And then just to kind of take everyone's feet out, that no, they're still going to duel. There's still going to be a fight to a duel to the death. I love that. I love that has, that is something that I thought is always going to be underpinning that final battle. Because he just showed like he's willing to do this for the guy.
Yeah.
So to lose that is tough. I don't think okay. My other issue is this. I feel like they're all kind of rushing now towards the bar.
Yeah.
And there's going to be that final big battle there, and then who's going to escape is going to escape. And then there's the duel. I mean, all that is kind of like, it's rushing to the end. And it feels like we just stopped and did a little side mission.
Right.
With someone that I think definitely provides interest and a bit of tension, but isn't like the main focus of the story. And I hate taking the main focus off the two main characters so long to do this scene that ultimately two people die in. And one I could care less about, and the other one I never really liked. He's not like he doesn't have a lot of redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
Stan.
Yeah.
So I don't really care if he dies personally. So maybe if there's a way to have Rebecca attack him en route or attack him,
I have a feeling I know where I can put her.
Okay. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool to not have to break that flow.
Yeah. We have her be part of the group that attacks him in the hotel room.
So earlier on.
Yeah. And so that kind of adds to the heightened
animosity,
emotions that Stan feels, and why he won't give the gun, and why he wants to kill Long right after.
Yeah.
Now, that's fine, but how do I get rid of Stan now? I mean, I could have him die in the final battle. I don't know. I got a lot of people that need to die, in this fight scene, and it's like, that's just one more person who has to have some kind of like standout death, because it's the climax, right? So everyone has to have a standout death.
So one thing that might be neat is, now that we know, we've learned new information in this group of pages you just gave us, right?
Yeah.
Because now Doc has just said, if it gets in your bloodstream, you're a goner, right?
Yeah.
So it would be kind of cool if something injures Stan, and that's why Everett kills him. It's like, I'm not going to let you go through that. Although that doesn't help like protect Long in any way. It might be a nice scene. It's up to you. It's not going to pay off anything else. It's kind of its own, little miniature piece between the two of them.
Yeah.
But it'd be kind of neat if you think, how is he going to die, and the other lawman is the one who decides to kill him. That's tough, especially someone with the morals of Everett.
I don't know, man. Let's got a noodle on this for a little bit.
I know you're saying to bring Rebecca into the hotel scene, which I guess is cool, but it would be neat to bring the brothel's right next door, right, to the bar.
Yeah,
it'd be kind of neat to have something happen there, like en route. Like that's the last thing they have to do is get past the Yoo-hoos, led by. Okay. I don't know if it's led by, but.
We could do that, like. How's this? Instead of just like running down the street and now here's the bar. Oh wait, there's something over there. How about they have to go through like back alleys and go through 9 Lives to go to the bar, and at 9 Lives they're going through the sneaking through the little performance area, and then suddenly a spotlight turns on, and it's it's these zombie cabaret girls. Well, they don't have to be zombies. They can be infected or whatever. They can be, basically establish them as like the elite Yoo-hoos, because they are like the stage performers. No, it's too cheesy. We don't have to make them be like karate monsters or anything, like have special attacks. Just that they're more meaningful because they're dressed in like the fancy outfits.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think just once I heard the spotlight, I'm like, well.
And she starts doing this little dance number.
Rubbing her distended belly.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a number out of Chicago.
I like the idea of going through the brothel, especially if there's some sort of mention of the streets or teeming with different types of zombies. So they're avoiding the direct paths as much as possible. I think that's a super easy way to explain why they would have to go through this.
So Stan is going to say, "Man, these streets, the streets are crawling." Instead of "It looks pretty clear, let's go."
The brothel.
Yeah, I know a way. How do you know this way, Stan? Don't ask.
Too many things are popping in my head that I can't really say on this PG rated podcast.
Well, when I stop recording.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, okay. Well, then that's fine. I guess we can do something there. So they have to go through the brothel. Okay. Okay.
Maggie's just covering Tommy's eyes the whole time.
Right. Yeah, we can have everybody there. I think that can work. It can still be like a mini battle, right? Mm-hmm. And the last one is Rebecca, we'll say, and Tommy stands in front of her. Like, don't you dare kill her long.
You just said Tommy.
Or, I'm sorry.
Tommy grew.
And sounds like Everett. Stan. Yeah.
And right when he does that, she's just attack him from behind with her
claws. That's what I'm saying. Something, right?
Yeah.
But then we
just
lose.
Eviscerates him.
We lose his heart, just like holding his heart through his chest. But we lose the whole the thing, the emotional content there with Long killing her, and right? Is that what you want? You want to? You still want that?
I think it's cool. I think it's cool to set people up to think, hey, maybe these guys will graduate to the next level. Maybe there's a, they trust each other in battle. So there's that camaraderie that builds from that naturally, and they're both good at what they do. Maybe they can take it up to the next level. Maybe there's a way that both of our kind of heroes can make it out of this alive. Maybe there's a way.
Okay. I'm starting to envision this in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this can work.
I'll find out in about a week.
Yeah. All right.
You think you can make it to the end by next week?
Yeah. Yeah, this is basically done. I mean, the fight scene that I'm about to write, it's going to be they fight mostly. Like, I only need to talk about Chief going crazy. Right?
Getting his axes.
Yeah. I got to do a couple cutaways.
Having a final drink.
What's that?
Having a final drink.
Hell yeah. Like, as soon as they get in there and they find out the doors are shut, Chief's going to be like, well, screw it. And he's going to throw down the axe and go behind the bar and just start pounding liquor. Right? And
I knew it.
Ray's going to, try to start hacking through these oak doors. Right? But then Jimmy and Sarah, they're going to be fleeing the monsters and shooting as they run.
Yeah.
And then we need to do like a cutaway of Jebediah on like a nearby hill, looking through a spyglass with Lieutenant Jones, so that we can see that the fire has pushed everything towards the center of town. Yeah. And I have to kind of do a little bit of rewriting the geography here. That's another thing we need to talk about. So first I need to do a little more rewriting or establishing that the bar is closer to the center of town so that this works. This idea works. Secondly, we need to talk about Doc's place in relation to the jail. Because when I had written this originally, Doc's place is essentially across the street from the jail. And you can't have a fight, a prolonged fight, around town just to end up across the street. You know what I mean? So I don't know what I'm going to do there.
Huh. I honestly didn't even remember.
Yeah.
Didn't even remember that. So
Because when Long is being repaired or worked on by Doc, and he's unconscious, Stan and Everett pick him up on a stretcher and bring him to the jail. And
right,
it's just like right across the street. Because the townsfolk are like jeering, like, ah! You know, they're not going to be carrying him for like, you know, got to walk across town.
yeah, load him on the horse. Done. Yeah. It makes sense to be by the jail.
Of course. Yeah. As far as my research goes, most of the important buildings were towards the center of town.
Yeah.
Like the jail, the bank, the doctor's office.
The brothel, the bar.
Yeah. Important. The important
What else do
stuff.
you need?
Come on. Yeah. But in this town, they're all like spread out for some reason. The most inconvenient places.
Yeah.
I'll have to write in a mayor character who's like, I hate all this traffic in the center of town. Like he's like praising his city planning. Remember, I was the mayor who made sure there wasn't too much traffic in the center of town. Holding up a map. This way, you know, you can orient the audience. Over here.
You are here.
If there's ever an emergency, you would have to zigzag around like this.
In the oh god.
In the
In the
event,
event of a zombie apocalypse, you would
yeah.
want to take
Whatever those are.
a circuitous route.
Yeah. In the event of a out of control fire that's encircled the town and a zombie apocalypse.
Do not worry, we have another passageway that goes through buildings that may or may not be adjacent to one another, depending on how the script shakes out.
Exactly. Well, whatever, man. Movie magic.
Draft number 2.
Yeah.
They fight. Got it.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, Brian. Is there any more banter or recapping or any problems you want to talk about before we can wrap up the show? I don't know if you know.
Well, there are a few things I do want to go through. There are a few things I want to go through.
Okay, let me plug. Should I plug right now?
You pre-plugged.
No, I mean
Remember?
I show the site. I show the.
I think we're all right.
We're gonna be okay with that. Okay,
I
I'll
think
do
I
that
got
at
the
the end. Wink, wink. Okay, Brian, go ahead. What are the problems?
Well, first off, just generally, I really enjoyed the pages. I thought they were a lot of fun, you know, and this has got that cool energy to it as well.
Yeah.
And I thought the scene with Doc was a lot of fun too. Like I didn't expect that one.
Oh.
So I was like laughing out loud when I was reading some of those. Well, you heard me as we're doing it.
Right.
I was even like pre-laughing, which is pretty annoying. But anyway, so I know you mentioned this is on 115. I know you mentioned that there are some reasons that you changed the child as a weapon scene.
Yeah.
I thought this is a neat way to do it, though. You know, like literally through like a cracked door.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
so. But it actually, I mean, I know you're trying to solve an issue of showing too much of the violence, but I think that you've actually introduced to the reader an interesting way of like looking at the scene. You know, like instead of like just being in it, I was like witnessing it and the horror through like a crack as I was reading. Like that's kind of interesting. It's almost like what you don't see is worse than what you see, although they won't know that it's actually was worse the other way.
Right.
What you would see.
Yes. You don't want to see what was going through my mind.
No. But anyway, I thought that was a really nice way to do that. Okay, so at the bottom of 115, Long is, you know, just digging into Stan a little bit. And he says, I heard you were good at killing kids.
Yeah.
Why did he say that?
Oh.
Like it felt like there was a foundational thing that I missed.
Well, because Stan doesn't like that Long is there. Initially, the line that Stan said was, why'd you bring him back? Right? But it's like, people will get the point if I cut it down to why is he here?
I got that. It was Long's line I didn't understand.
Oh, well, because there are all these kids that are dead everywhere.
Right, but when it says, I heard you were good at killing, I heard you were good at killing kids, it sounds like there's a pretext to that.
Oh, no. It's just that, it's probably not the best quip I've come up with, quippy line, but basically they're standing in a pile of dead children. And so it's just kind of like, that's a horrible thing to have witnessed someone do.
So, and I agree. I actually liked the quip a lot. I just didn't understand it because I felt like it was a build onto something that was already done.
Nope.
So maybe if it was more like, I never knew you were so good at killing kids or something, just where there's no foundation to it, but you're still keeping the good line. Because I think the line itself is really fun.
Oh, okay.
It's a good way to just dig it. I love the dig.
I hear you, but then I think we have to change Stan's line to Everett about why is he here. Or something like maybe Stan would have to just say, too bad he's here or something, right? I don't know if that will fit, unfortunately.
You're saying that he's not only responding or not only saying the thing about the kids, but he's responding to why is he here?
Right.
I don't really care about that as much. I care about the cool thing that Long gets to say.
I understand, but it doesn't make sense. Like, it has to be a reaction.
Yeah, okay. But I'm saying that I'd rather solve the Stan part and manipulate the long one than lose the long line. The long line is fun.
Yeah.
With a little bit of adjustment.
Okay.
So if you need to adjust what Stan says, then I think that's less important than what Long gets to say.
No, fine. I'm not saying we don't adjust Long's line to make it more fun, but you can't have that line unless you adjust Stan's line, and I think we should also talk about that right now.
Okay.
I can't remember what you want Long to say.
Oh, I never knew.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I never knew you were so good at killing children.
It's funny. It's like now you're hitting all the funny parts of the child killing thing.
Yeah, of course.
Without being,
Yeah, you gotta, deflate the horror a little bit, right?
Right.
A little gallows humor.
I think you missed one.
Yeah.
Right. Good show watching two people think, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
This is how it is. This is the writing process.
This is still on, folks.
That's fine. We can.
Your mic's looking for you. People are trying to listen. What's happening?
I know, it's just hissing.
It's like hearing your thought process. I don't know, man.
I know. Well, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
It just says, Stan doesn't say anything, and Long just says to Stan.
Yeah.
They're done.
Long, parentheses, being a dick.
All right.
It's fine. Make a note so that I know to make that adjustment.
It's been made.
All right. Okay.
All right. So the middle of 116. So it says, Everett shoots Long a grim look. Long nods back.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, when I was reading it, I thought that there was something else that was going to pay off. Like there's something they talked about that was going to come back rather than a response to what Maggie was saying.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a line of action to break up, that we know Everett's going to explain the situation.
I think you can lose Maggie's why and that line.
I hear you. I hear
we have
you.
to have at least one of those every episode.
No. The thing is, it's we have a group of people, and I like to just keep everybody. I thought about that too, right? Obviously, it's one word, and I'm the guy who loves to chop out, to save lines, especially if it's just one word. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just I'm thinking of it visually. And, you know, we got a close-up of Maggie. Why? You know, reverse angle, Everett. He looks over his shoulder and there's Long. You know, gives him a nod, like something like that. And then maybe Everett turns back to the camera. And we know he's going to explain, right? Like, it's just a good sequence of events. I just feel like it's kind of a cliffhanger. It's kind of abrupt. Not a cliffhanger, but abrupt for Maggie to say, I thought we were doing this. And Everett's like, that won't work anymore. Cut to Sam.
I don't think it's abrupt at all. I think in editing, I think that's totally fine because I don't want to hear anything else at that point because I know as the as the viewer.
Yeah.
So I guess, you know, I would be even more like critical of this now based on what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because to me, the center of the scene is where I would probably like, you know, the emotional height of the scene is where I'd like to just leave it because like what's going to happen here. So that to me is like where it says Long and Stan stare at each other, you know, I can assume that they're back on the move again, you know, because he's already say we got to work together. That means all of us, they look at each other and then boom, we're with Sam. So,
okay. I mean, I hear your argument.
I don't change it. Say it. Say the words. I hear you. I hear you.
Don't change it. I love it. Okay. I hear you, Brian.
Brian.
You know, it's just logistically or logically, I just like to, you know, if there are points where I feel like I want to just show the audience that, okay, look, they were told, or at least it's heavily insinuated or implied that they were told. You know, cognitively, it won't feel like you have to make that up. Like you have to fill that gap. Like they're in the jail now and they're talking about, you know, hey, get some weapons or whatever, right? Like I want the audience to feel like everyone is on the same page and they understand that there is this greater threat, rather than having to fill that in for myself. And I know there's still a little bit of that. I'm not spelling out that, you know, exactly whatever it tells them. I think, you know, that I guess that's just where I draw the line, right? Like I feel like you need to have just a little bit of that explanation or that little bit of showing the audience. No, not convinced?
No, when you're at 121 on your second draft,
Yeah.
you're just like, yeah, that can go.
Oh no, something else will be cut. Don't worry about it. I'll lose a whole character before I lose this part, Brian.
Before I lose
I don't need Long.
Why, Brian? That is the emotional core of the entire,
Exactly.
the entire movie. What are you talking about?
That
Why?
was the
Why is any of
iconic
this
scene that I built the movie around. Why? Why?
Need to change the show's name.
So
I
what,
hear
let's
you.
edit this movie.
But
What?
no,
I hear you. I hear you, but yeah.
Okay, so I'm moving past this right now.
Okay,
So
Brian.
Towards the middle. I love when it's Brian like that. Does everyone pick up on what that means? Okay, Brian. I know what that means. All right, so just past that. So I just want to make sure I understand when Sam gets sniffed and licked.
Yeah.
I assume this is because he's infected. So they're just like, he's not someone that they want to eat.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I got that.
Go. Okay, cool.
Yeah, good. All right. So I'm on 117.
That is important because that's going to happen again in the bar fight with Chief.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
But also it's a convenient way to get Sam there without having to write all of this, like, oh, he starts fighting with his shotgun and killing people. You know what I mean? It's like, forget it. He's one of them now.
I think it's cool because you don't expect it to.
Yeah, right. It's a little surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when he's like, what can he really do at this point?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't think since he has not been with them, he can really put the two together to realize that, crud, you know, I'm done for. It's just a matter of time. He doesn't even know that. He just thinks he's for some reason getting spared. But I think it's kind of really interesting on a couple levels. No, too much subtext. I enjoyed it.
Hey man,
I hear that you enjoyed it.
but let me tell you why you shouldn't enjoy it that much.
Rewrite. I don't want him enjoying that. So I think my favorite line in this 7 pages is in the middle of 117, where it's just usually you're describing action, which I get because that's what the action is for.
Yeah.
But you don't very often go into emotion, something
Right.
internal.
Yeah.
And when it says, he's complete again,
Right.
that's such a cool way to put it, because it's like, he's reunited with,
Yeah.
part of him has been taken away. Like it's literally part of him. They're that's a really nice note for an actor, like that's a love right there for his farms. That's a cool line. Okay. So do with this one what you will. All right. But when Everett tosses ammo into a sack and hands it to Tommy,
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, there's an instigating something there. Something's going to happen in just a minute that's going to make things go screwed up because they gave ammunition to Tommy. Right? Like, why would they give? If I was me, I would never give ammo to Tommy. I'd be like, just Tommy, shut the hell up. No more responsibility for you, 3-year-old. Just keep your damn mouth quiet. And now they give it to Tommy, and just a matter of time before something goes awry. It was like literally a loaded gun when that happened.
Oh, okay. That's fair. What can I say, Brian? It was my inner Shane Black having a little child thing going on there. I know. They ruin movies, don't they?
Can't Tommy die earlier?
Have him die earlier?
Yeah, make Maggie more sad. I don't want to watch the kid.
But you lose the parallelism at the end.
Know. I'm just playing with you.
I know.
But I would prefer if it mattered, if I hear you and whatnot, that if someone else could drop the ammo. I like the idea of the bag being the thing that
Tommy can still trip. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Like I said, got a lot of characters in the scene. I would just like them to be involved in some way, and maybe, I don't know, maybe Tommy is scared. Maybe he's, to help him take his mind off what they're about to do.
Mm-hmm.
Everett kind of involves him with this like very low level thing. Hey, just carry this bag of crap. No,
I like that, but I think that I would do something more like, you've got the most important job. You think you can handle it? Yeah. You're the lookout. You have to look for everything. You let me know. You tug on me if you see anything move, you just tug on me. You think you can handle that? I like that he's involving him, and I think that's kind of neat and fatherly too.
Yeah.
Which is, kind of his job as the pseudo father here. So I think that's cool. I just didn't like the ammo in a sack.
Okay. Well, so it's also a little bit of setup for later, where in the fight, I was trying to think of, okay, am I really going to commit to writing action for every single character in this fight scene? Because you got Long, you got Everett, you got Jimmy, you got Sarah, you got Chief, you got Ray. I mean, that's already 6 characters, right? Then you got Maggie, then you got Tommy. I mean, it's 8. You got 8 people in this thing. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed anybody. So I was thinking of having Ray working on the door with the axe, the doors, and Maggie with her rifle. Because, I've already established she's good with a rifle. I'd hate to have that go to waste on just killing this spitter on the roof.
Wasn't that a play?
What's that?
So wasn't that a play?
Wasn't that a play?
Spitter on the Roof.
Yes, that's right.
The sequel.
Yeah, Spitter on the Roof. I do remember that. Yeah.
That's when the fiddler got infected.
Turned into a zombie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she could be, anytime, attackers came into the corridor, she could be shooting them with her rifle. Right?
Yeah,
and then
totally.
She'll run out of bullets, and Tommy will be feeding her ammunition from the bag. Right? But then when Chief becomes a monster and he ends up in the corridor, right? Maggie will try to kill him, but then realize, I'm out of ammo. She'll look down at Tommy, who's been feeding her ammo. He'll turn the bag inside out of ammo. And that's when Ray has to go and fight Chief off. And this is where Ray's going to get killed as he's killing Chief. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so let me just pause for a second. So I think you can have your cake and eat it on this one then.
All right.
Because I thought as soon as the kid gets the ammo bag, something's going to go wrong. But it would be cool if he does trip, and causes the commotion and all that stuff happens. But he's actually does everything you want him to do with the ammo bag. It never comes into play. That people think it's, it's a little bit of a MacGuffin. People think it's going to be a problem, but it's not. He actually is proficient at handing out ammo or whatever he needs to do. And it's just something innocuous that causes the actual problem beforehand, like a trip or something.
Okay.
I think that's kind of cool. Though.
I see. So you're saying he can trip, but don't jangle the bag.
Yeah. It's just maybe he falls down. That's enough to.
All right.
Okay. I think that's fair. That'll happen with a kid, sure.
All right.
And then he gets.
I'm impressed that you thought the bag would be a thing that causes a problem.
Oh yeah, live ammo with a child.
It's just ammunition. It's not like it jumps out of the bag and kills people. It just starts exploding as he's holding it. Oh, I'm sorry,
Tommy
everybody.
starts throwing firecrackers.
Yeah.
Hold these grenades, kid. Yes, I did. Honestly,
all right.
on that. Okay, so let's see, where am I at here? Okay, so on 119, part of me doesn't even want to give you this note because I really enjoyed everything that happened with Doc. I thought it was just really fun, especially when he turns.
Yeah.
This is a minor procedure. You might feel a slight sting, multiple flash. Those are just great lines, like one after another. The only one that I bumped on was where he says, "Do you concur, doctor?"
Yeah.
Which is inferring that he's developing some sort of dual personality or there's something askew inside of him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily, it kind of came out of nowhere. Like he's talking to himself.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, I guess a couple choices on this, where, excuse me, previously maybe on 118, if he refers to a doctor as a throwaway line, or I asked the doctor or something where he's kind of referring to that person as, and people don't realize he's talking about himself. I don't know if it really plays or if it's worth it because you don't really want to slow down the coolness of the scene. I think it might.
No, you know what what we can do here is instead of Stan being the first line of dialogue, Doc is muttering to himself, right? Just conducting a diagnosis. And he's talking as if he's talking to doctors, right? It's patient is exhibiting low blood pressure or whatever.
It's her heads off.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So yeah, you can do it. I think that's a good idea. You can either do that or you can put it in the action. And if you just say, Doc is muttering to himself.
Yeah.
Which you have room for.
Right. Totally.
Then I think that's enough to kind of give it a prelude for what happens next. Because
and then when I'm the script supervisor on set, I can just give that note to the actor, hey, why don't you say stuff like this?
Yeah, he's checking for a heartbeat with this thing. She's got no head. Doc. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing anything. We're not hearing anything. Yeah, man, that's it. So a lot of just not a lot, just a few minor notes. Otherwise, I thought that was a really fun read. So good job on that. Good job on these pages, man.
Okay, perfect. Well, I don't really have anything else to say. Let me just make sure of that. Well, let me just actually let me plug and then we'll wrap up.
All right.
Okay. All right, everybody. If you're new to the channel and new to the show, the project, it is Let's Write This Movie, and we have a website called letswritethismovie.com where I post new pages every week, and you can click on any of these posts. Here's this week's. I typically will write up something, little write-up of what's been going on that week, and you can scroll down, and here are the pages. You can click through them and leave your feedback in the comment form below. We also have a Twitter profile at Write This Movie, and this is where I'll put up the links for the pages and our discussion episodes. So the feedback you leave regarding the script, the current pages, will be discussed on these episodes, like the one you're watching right now. So I hope you will join us. We are nearing the end of first draft, or first draft plus is what I call it, because it's not really a first draft, right? Since Brian and I have been discussing it these past few months.
Yeah.
So here's Brian and I again. So let me just say this, Brian. I remember back in November.
Did everyone hear that? The way he said Brian? That was the good one. Just want to make sure everyone hears that. Go back and listen.
That was a good one. The good version. I remember back in November. I remember before November when I kind of, broached this idea with you, and you were kind of resistant because you didn't want to be on camera and other reasons I can't recall. But I remember that I told you this was the only way I could get back into writing a script, and be committed to it.
Yeah.
And I can remember just dragging my feet, right? Like not doing the research on the software and how we would do all of this. Do you remember this, Brian? And you were like on me, like, so René, where are we? Where are we on this thing? Okay.
Hello. Hey, man.
No, I was trying to get my camera back in focus.
High five.
Yeah.
Peace.
Bro fist, bro. Bro fist. There you go. Anyway.
Hey, what side am I on?
You are on my right side.
Point to where I'm at.
You are over here.
So if I go to this, I'm pointing at you?
No, the other way.
Oh. What's up?
Yeah. It's like the Brady Bunch. Okay. And here we are. And it's only end of February, and we're at 120 pages. So from 0 pages, from concept to 120 pages. I know I still have some story to write, but let's say let's add another 10 pages at most.
Yeah.
This is an entire movie. Now, I know a professional screenwriter who does nothing but, writes screenplays.
Yeah, it doesn't have another job.
Yeah, they can probably do it in less than that, 30 days, probably less than. But, to be honest, I'm not sure that their first draft would be as polished as what this first draft is going to be. So I am very proud, and I'll be, I'm going to revisit this emotion and what I'm saying when we're actually done with the first draft. But it's just amazing to me. If you have a process in place and you can just stick with that every week, you will achieve your goal. And I think this is one of the reasons why I love writing movies, is because it's not like writing a novel where it's so hard to see the very end, because it's like you're writing just 1,000 pages or 400 pages, whatever it is.
Right.
120 pages is nothing, especially when you're writing a lot of dialogue, and it's like a third of a page column going down. It's like the pages just fly by.
Right.
So I don't really know what the point I'm trying to make is, except to say that, goals are, or writing a movie is not like some insurmountable goal. And that's it, just keep at it, and you'll get there.
Absolutely, man. I think that's great. And I know you did drag your feet in the very beginning. And I figured you'd be ready when you're ready, and I just keep kind of, asking little questions. Can we do a technical run through, René? How about a technical run through, René?
Yeah. Well, especially the treatment, right? Or the summary, the synopsis.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, I gotta write this. I want to write.
Now that I think about it, though, I think the treatment was your idea. You wanted to start at the very beginning with kind of giving an overall
view. I think that was just another thing. a really good way to dissuade me from doing something is to add a lot of stuff to it. Like, oh, you got to do a lot of steps, right? Oh, and so I think adding one more step was like a way to convince me not to do the project.
Yeah.
But I did it.
And what's really funny, and again, behind the scenes a little bit, is that the last project that René and I collaborated on was a podcast, and the conceit for it was that I wanted René to watch something and then show up and talk about it, and that I would of course watch the show that we're going to talk about and then show up to talk about it as well. But I would also edit everything and make sure it got out. And I think the other thing you did was kind of make sure that it went out physically, but all the editing and everything, the hours that went into that, at least 2 to 3 hours for every hour that we recorded was done on my side. There's a lot of work to do that show, but I really enjoyed it. Whereas on this one, I get to read and show up, so it's like the onus is already on René. You're doing everything. You're writing the pieces, you're editing the pieces. I mean the script itself.
Yeah.
And then you're making sure that this gets rendered and then put onto YouTube. And I mean, you're doing all the heavy lifting on this one, man. So hats off to you for doing the lion's share of this one. And bringing me along for the ride, because it's so fun to watch you put out such a fun script and do such good work. So hopefully, as we start to build momentum for this thing, once it gets done, this is something that people will actually go back and watch, even if we're not getting a lot of the live viewers necessarily.
Right.
Hopefully people go back and do get something more out of this and see that, emotionally it's like it's worth it too, because you're at a great place, for having done such a nice job. So
thanks, man.
I guess that's my little commentary on the process so far.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I wouldn't mind going back and doing the other project if you want to do it in this kind of format.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and I'm serious about that.
I'm more comfortable now with doing it.
Well, what I mean is, I think it would be easier to do without the work you did on the project really made it. Like, I would just die laughing at work listening to this thing because of all of the little like sound cues and the gags, and I'd email or text the Mormon and be like, "Oh man, tell me you loved it when he inserted that little jingle," right? And we'd just be laughing because it's hilarious.
90210 reference. Wait, what?
But I mean, if you want to, kind of rejigger it so it's easier, and we can just like pull up scenes from the subject matter and like talk about it. Like, oh, remember this scene? This is the scene I didn't like this, or whatever. I think it could exist again.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun, but I'll just tell you right now where I'm at, the place I'm at, and knowing where you're at in terms of your time. To me, I'd rather use something that is going to possibly impact your career in a positive manner than just do something fun. Because I think we could do both.
I hear you.
This is more for both.
Yeah.
So I think that it had its life, and we had the unaired program. Maybe that'll come out someday.
All right, well, let's stop talking.
Maybe that'll come out unedited. Just
Okay.
I haven't listened to it.
4 hours. But let's stop talking cryptically about something that no one knows, what we're talking about. So let's just wrap it up, Brian. I had a good time.
Man. Not our style, but all right, we'll wrap it up. We could do the show in half the time if we did that.
That's true. That is true.
But then who would see me doing this the entire show? As I do it. All right, man. Good show.
Yeah. Okay. I guess. Oh, God damn it. Goodbye.
Peace.